Norwich City made a huge jump towards the Premier League this past match day as they took care of their nearest and dearest Brentford. But what about Watford and Swansea? Can they keep up the heat? We'll take a little look next. That's right, folks, back once again with another prediction show. Today we take a look at match day number 35 out of the Championship, and we'll get to that in just 1 second. If you're new to the channel, where the heck have you been, boys? Smash your subscribe button, you bang out today with all things Blackburn Rovers later, Championship related, whoa, football related. We got it all here under Walruski. That's right, Norwich looking home and bloody dry as they extend their lead to 10 points over second place Brentford. But what about Watford and Swansea? Of course, they actually won their match days to close in on the top two. We'll take a look at all of that in a minute. I want a big shout out to the Patreons. The Patreon, the VIP brothers from, of course, another mother supporting the channel another way. I do appreciate that, guys. Thank you very, very much for continued support. If anyone else wants to join those illustrious band of men, we're trying to get from 25. Realistically, I want to get 50 by the end of the calendar year. So we got a lot to do, and I need a bit of movement in that department to relight my fire. So if you are interested, check out the link down below. It is pretty cheap for as little as a cup of coffee. And when I say a cup of coffee, I'm not talking about Starbucks. I'm talking about the instant shite, the stuff that the granules. That's how cheap as chips it could be. But you could be a little bit fancy pants and push me up for a Starbucks. It depends on how you feel. So check out the link. It's down below, patreon.com/Roverseas. But anyway, we're going to crack on and take a little look at how I got on, and then we'll take a look at how you got on this past match day. We're going to kind of breeze past the Rovers stuff. We don't really want to talk about that right now because it is all doom and gloom central. So kick it all off back on. Of course, it was Tuesday bloody night, and of course Mick McCarthy's doing an absolutely fantastic job. 4-0 win for Cardiff over Derby. Bakuna with a brace. Kiefer Moore and Will Folks on the score sheet giving Mick McCarthy's boys a comfortable lesson or comfortable ride over Wayne Rooney FC. That's right, Derby suffered another defeat there to get them back down to earth. Meanwhile, Coventry, they lost to Millwall in a tight game there, 2-1 win in the end. Dick Steele gave a big fat OG, giving Coventry the lead before Grant Hall levelled just before the break, and then of course George Savo won it for Middlesbrough to move the chains for them. 1-1 was my pick. Meanwhile, Millwall, they beat Preston as well on the same match day, 2-1 win for them. Scott Malone, Mason Bennett giving Millwall the goals as they came from behind. Ched Evans giving Preston the lead on that one. Actually, went the 2-1 win for Preston, but shame on me. Huddersfield and Birmingham ended up all square. Two teams struggling for points. Fraser Campbell for Huddersfield, Mark Robertson on the score sheet for Birmingham. Actually, remember the 0-0, so not too shabby. Meanwhile, Forest, though, they lost to Luton. 1-0, of course, on the score sheet. Tunnicliffe ex-Rover on the score sheet there for Luton Town. 2-1 for me going in the other way. Of course, Reading won by, of course, a bit of a fluky goal there in the end. Mistake by Harvey Elliott of all players. 1-0 win for Reading. Gave him the 3 points. I actually went with a 2-1 win for Reading, so I'm happy with that. But really, I'm kind of down the dumps with, of course, the result. So into Wednesday's games, of course, it was Norwich against Brentford. All eyes were on this one. But Wendo opened up the scoring and, of course, was the only goal. 1-0 win for Norwich. I actually went with a 3-2 win for Norwich, so I'm pretty content with that. Watford also took care of business against Wycombe. Andre Gray with a brace. 2-0 in the end. Got that one bang on the bloody nose as well. Meanwhile, QPR, they lost to Barnsley, who are flying bloody high. Cannot believe how amazing they are. Darryl Dyke, DK on the score sheet again. Alex Mowat, Carlton Morris on the score sheet. Charlie Austin get the goal for QPR, but unfortunately not good enough. 1-1 for me. Meanwhile, Bristol City, they did lose to, of course, Bournemouth. So the new manager bounce has come to a close. Tariq Parkinson in the end for Bristol City with a 1 goal for them. Daniel Bentley with a big fat OG. Cameron Carnvick is also on the score sheet for Bournemouth as they won, of course. Sheffield Wednesday lost to Rotherham. Big win for Rotherham on this one. Goal scorers on the day, I can give them to you. It's Matthew Olasende with a big fat OG, giving Sheffield Wednesday a bit of hope. Michael Smith opened up the scoring. He also got himself sent off on the 66th minute before Freddie Ladapo won it for Rotherham in the end. That's massive. That is massive. And of course, Stoke, they did lose to Swansea with a last-minute.com penalty. Nick Powell on the score sheet for Stoke. Connor Roberts as well for Swansea. Andre Ayew with a 96-minute winner from the penalty spot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 for me. What about you? We'll have a look at that in a minute, of course. The table, though, looks like this, kind of. It kind of looks like this. Of course, Wycombe are down there with 23 points. Then it is Sheffield United on 20. Sheffield Wednesday. Slap Sort me out. Sheffield Wednesday down there with 28 points. Then it's Rotherham on 32. There's a 4-point gap now between Rotherham and Sheffield Wednesday. They did appoint Darren Moore, which I think is a fantastic manager. It might be too little too late, though, for him to save the day for Sheffield Wednesday. But I think they've got a cracking manager next season as long as they stick by him. And that. Meanwhile, of course, Rotherham up to 32 points now, which puts them 3 points off of Birmingham, off of Coventry. They could also get sucked into that. Derby and Huddersfield also need to get some results on the table. I think QPR, Notts Forest, and Rovers, because we're down there. I think we're okay for the time being, but we need to get some results on board. As for the tip at the top, of course, Norwich are 10 points clear of Brentford, who are level on points with Watford, who are 1 point clear over Swansea. Of course, Reading and Bournemouth keeping up the heat. Barnsley, though, and of course Cardiff still within touching distance of making the playoffs. Could you bloody well believe it, Barnsley? Absolutely fantastic for them, though. Of course, it's the criteria. You know the deal. You know the bloody deal. Hatch T, new to the scene. Well done to you. Of course, Tom Stainer, well done, of course. Fitzgerald did bits. Okay, did okay. Stainer had a nightmare. Had an absolute nightmare, though. It's okay, though. Alex Weller did bits. Russell Frost, though, also kicking ass and taking names. Ultra Omer Mirror, well done to you as well. Leeds 2021 also did good. Olaji Ojo did fabulous. Of course, Ollie Trafford also did great. Cody Ho, well done as well. Keeping up the heat. Omar Scaville, not too shabby. Well done to you. Jamie Gill did good. Yannick Buster did poop. Joachim Jackson also not too shabby. James BCFC, you are great. Of course, Damien Evan also did good. Ashton Knight's not too shabby, of course. Mr. Kirk Stump also did poop. Game and Charlie did alright. Shepherd also did good, of course. Well done. Well, fair play. River Horse also did good. Nathan Evan not too shabby, of course. And Irish String also did good as well. What's that done to the table? Let's have a look at it. If your name's Yannick Bostler, go have a shower, or I don't know, don't say something. Go hide, because you don't want to look at it. But if your name's Olaji Ojo, Kodigo, or Gaming Bloody Charlie, you guys kicking ass and taking names, get yourselves 8 out of 12, which is pretty good. That's pretty dang good, guys. Of course, a couple of Patreons kicking ass and taking names as well. But what's that done to the overall leaderboard? Well, your kingpin is Gaming Charlie with a 1 percentage point clearance over Shane O'Donnell. So give him a bloody bow, guys. Give him a bloody bow. So Shane O'Donnell got himself. He had a nightmare. Gaming Charlie gained 4 points on him. Wow. So it's a statement of intent there for Gaming Charlie. He wants to win this one. Russell Frost, though, also keeping up the heat as well. He's also, how many points did Russell Frost get? He got 2 points less than Gaming Charlie. So Gaming Charlie actually had a big old flex there. And of course, you guys need to step up the plate if you want to catch him. But anyway, it is tight, airtight. But in this week, we've got an extended one because we're going to take a look at this big old match day, which takes place this weekend. And then we have these 4 games midweek. So the next prediction show will be after the conclusion of these games, which will be the Barnsley Derby one, which I think is next Wednesday. So yeah. Big old stretch here. We got what, 12, 14, 16 points on the agenda right here. So if you get them all right, guess what? You could be kicking ass and taking names. We're going to kick it all off though with Huddersfield against Cardiff on Friday bloody night. These two sides play for the last 6. Nothing but Huddersfield 4 for Cardiff, 2 draws last round. In of course Kirklees John Smith Stadium was a 3-0 win for Cardiff back in February 2020. Josh Murphy, Will Volks, and Callum Passon on score sheet. However, they also played each other in Wales back in, of course, in December. It was a 3-0 win then as well for Cardiff. Kiefer Moore with the brace, Robert Glatzel as well. In fact, Cardiff have actually won the last 3 between these two sides. And last time Huddersfield picked up a point, these two sides were both in the Premier League. Heading into this, Cardiff actually won 7 of the last 8 matches in the Championship and also undefeated in the last 14 matches against Huddersfield. They like playing Huddersfield. I think they'll get another win here, of course. 5 wins in the past 6 for them. Of course, their only hiccup was the draw in the Warnock Derby between Middlesbrough. Of course, just 1 win in the past 6 for Huddersfield. That was a 4-1 win over Swansea, brother. Of course, let's take a look at the bookies odds on this one. Do I have them? I do bloody have them. Of course, 5-2 for Huddersfield, 11-10. Your Cardiff favourites, 12-5 is the draw. Of course, Huddersfield are struggling, and a win for them, though, they could go from 19th all the way up to 15th in the table. Cardiff are in 8th, and a win for them, they'll go into the playoffs for at least 24 hours, and they'll get the W anyway with a 2-0 win for Cardiff over Huddersfield. Next, of course, Watford flying high up against Forest, who are flying mid-table for the time being. Of course, a win for Forest could give them a big old boost. A win for Watford could move them into the top 2. Place of the last 6, 2 for Watford, 1 for Forest, 3 draws last round at Vicarage Road back in 2014. Of course, 2-2 in the end. Odin Gidialo on the score sheet, Matthew Vidger as well. Michael Antonio with a couple of goals there for Forest as well. Last time around, though, of course, they played each other at the City Ground in Nottingham. Of course, it was a 0-0 draw back in December. So, yes. Heading into this, Watford actually won 6 of the last 7 home matches in the Championship. Also keeping a clean sheet in 5 of the last 7 at home. They come into this, just 1 blip at the past 6. Watford looking good at the moment. That 1 blip was against Bournemouth. Of course, that was a 1-0 loss there. Meanwhile, Forest come into this, just 1 defeat the past 4. The 1 defeat was against Luton just the other day. Look at at the bookies odds on this one. The shower, of course, Watford will be your favourites. 2017 on. They are your stone cold favourites. 23-10 is your draw. 15-4 is, of course, Forest on this one. Forest are in 16th and win for them. They could go 14th. Watford are in 3rd and win for them. They will go 2nd for at least 24. For a couple of hours at the very least. I think Watford will nick this one with a 2-1 win. Forest will be in this to make it a little bit competitive, but unfortunately Watford will take the 3 points. Bristol City, though, taking on, of course, QPR. New manager bounce has come to a new manager halt. Where are they now? Back-to-back wins followed up now here, of course, with a defeat this past week against Bournemouth. Played to the last 6, though. 5 wins for Bristol City, 1 win for QPR. No draws last time around at Thrashton Gate. It was a 2-0 win for, of course, Bristol City back in, of course, August 2019. Adam Nagy on the score sheet. Benik Afobe as well on the score sheet for Bristol City. Of course, they played at Loftus Road this season. Of course, back in December, it was a 2-1 win for Bristol City as well. Naki Wells and Adam Nagy as well. Robert Dickey on the score sheet for QP Bloody. Bristol City, though, lost their last 4 home matches. They've also won, though, their last 4 home matches against QPR, scoring at least 2 goals in those last 4. Heading into this, back-to-back defeats for QPR, in fact, without a win in 3. Meanwhile, just 1 defeat the past 3 games for Bristol City. That 1 defeat was against Bournemouth, and it was at home. So, can they turn the corner around and get themselves a home win for the first time in a while? 5-4. Where's the odds? 15-8. Sorry for Bristol City. 12-5 is your draw. 29-20 is your QPR. QPR coming at you in 17th. A win for them. They could go 14th for the table. Bristol City are in 12th. A win for them. They could actually go as high as 10th in the lead, depending on what goes on elsewhere. For me, I'm going to go with a 1-0 win for Bristol City to keep the run going against QPR. Coventry City, though, up against Derby County. Wayne Rooney FC. Difficult one, this one. Coventry scrambling for some points. Derby also not too out of the woods just yet. Played to the last 6, 2 wins apiece, 2 draws last time around at Rico or wherever they play their games. Lucas Jakowicz, Carl Baker in a 2-0 win for Coventry back, of course, in 2011. That was, of course, September time. They also played each other this season at Pride Park. It was a 1-1 draw, of course, back in December. Callum Kaiser-Richards on the score sheet, ex-Rover there. Gustavo Hamer on the score sheet for Coventry with a late equaliser, though. Coventry coming into this, where are they? Just we're on winning 6. That 1 win was an impressive one, though. It was against Brentford. Meanwhile, Derby just 1 win in the past 4. That 1 win was against Huddersfield. So a bit of a rough patch as well for Derby. Of course, bookies odds. Coventry 29-20 for the victory, 11-5 is your 2-1 is your Derby. Derby coming in chat, of course, in 18th and win for them. They could actually go as high as 15th, whereas Coventry are down into 20th and win for them. They could go 18th in the table. I think I've gone with a 2-1 win for Coventry on this one to upset the apple cart and, of course, give them 3 points and keep on dreaming on for another season in the Championship. Barnsley against Birmingham. It's the battle of the bees. Bloody hell. Next up, we have Barnsley up against Birmingham. These 2 sides played for the last 6. 3 wins for Barnsley, 2 for Birmingham, 1 draw. Last round, of course, at Oakwell was a 1-0 win for Birmingham back in, of course, February 2020. Scott Hogan on the score sheet last season, of course. This season, though, they played each other down at St Andrews, of course, 2-1 win for Barnsley. Cully Woodrow, Callum Stiles on the score sheet, Scott Hogan once again. Barnsley, though, have actually won the last 6 matches in the Championship. They come into this with 6 on the spin. Meanwhile, Birmingham just 1 defeat the past 4. They've turned the corner and are starting to move the chains. Of course, that 1 defeat was against Norwich. Look at the bookies odds on this one, shall we? Of course, Barnsley coming at you. Barnsley 5-4 on for the victory, 30-5 is your draw, 7-2 is your Birmingham. Birmingham are down into, of course, 21st. So the win for them, they could actually go as high as 18th. Whereas Barnsley are actually in 7th, and the win for them, they could go 5th, not 6th, 5th. That's right, move the chains. That's that. Barnsley are looking good. They'll get the win with a 1-0 win over Birmingham. Next up, Brentford up against Rotherham. Of course, Brentford coming on the back of this on the defeat to Norwich. Heading into this, the last 6, though, 4 for Brentford, 2 for Rotherham between these 2 sides. Last time around at Brentford was a 5-1 win for Brentford, of course, back in a couple of seasons ago, actually. It was a 5-1 win. Neil Mopay on the score sheet with a couple of goals there. Ollie Watkins as well. Sergio Canos and Lewis McLeod. Will Vokes on the score sheet for Rotherham. They also played this season at the New York Stadium, of course, back in December. It was a 2-0 win for Brentford. Marcus Foss and Ivan Tony on the score sheet. Michael Miller got himself sent off. Heading into Stoke, Brentford winning 7 last 8 home matches in the Championship, and they've also won the last 4 home matches against Rotherham in all comps. Heading into this, though, 5 defeats in the past 6 games for Rotherham. A big win, though, against Sheffield Wednesday just the other day. As for Brentford, just 2 wins in the past 6. They've hit a bit of a rough patch. They did get back to winning ways, but of course Norwich put a stop to that, and we'll see how they respond this week, of course. I'll look at the bookies odds on this one then, shall we? Of course, Brentford 9-4 on for the victory, 10-3 is your 7-1 is your Rotherham. Rotherham coming at you all the way down into, of course, 22nd win for them. They could go 20th. Brentford are in 2nd, and win for them, they could remain in 2nd, depending on what goes on elsewhere. Got to go with Brentford, though, with the 2-0 win. Job done. 3 points in the bag. Next up, we have Millwall against Rovers. Must-win territory here for Mowbray. Unless something crazy goes on in the next between now and, of course, kickoff. The last 6, of course, 1 win for Millwall, 4 for Rovers, 1 draw last round. At the Den was a 1-0 win for Millwall. That was, of course, back in last season with no fans. Millwall came in on top with Mason Bennett on the 20th minute. Meanwhile, though, they played each other this season at Ewood Park, so 2-1 win for Rovers. Can't really remember that game. I think it was a shit performance. 2-1 win. Elliot Armstrong on the score sheet, Scott Malone as well. Heading into this, Rovers actually lost their last 4 away matches. We're shit. And of course, heading into this, what are we looking at? 5 defeats of the past 6 games. It's actually 6 defeats of the past 7 games. As for Millwall, just 1 win though in the past 4. That 1 win was against Preston. They beat the Northwest Crunch Clash then. Can they do it a daily double of the past week, over this weekend, of course. Anyway, heading into this, Millwall coming at you 29-20 for the victory, 21-10 is your Rovers, 21-10 is also the draw. Of course, Millwall in 10th, with them they can close in on 9th. Rovers are down into, of course, 15th, but a win for them could go from 15th to 14th. It's okay, baby steps, baby bloody steps. Let's just get the bloody win and hopefully move the bloody chains. I've gone with Rovers on this one. I haven't backed them in the past couple of days. I think they'll get this one. They'll break the hoodoo. Hopefully, Mowbray has given them the hairdryer and some between now and then to convince them that his job's on the line. And who knows, could come in. They could have an arsehole coming right back in behind him. So get the win, Rovers, and then we'll look at this one in a minute. Rovers against Swansea, because it's just like a sequel. You know what I mean? You got to do this to do this. That's what I'm saying. Next up, of course, Reading taking, of course, Sheffield Wednesday. Of course, played the last 6. 1 for Reading, 3 for Sheffield Wednesday, 2 draws. Last round at the Matchday was a 3-1 win for Wednesday. Of course, Kadim Harris, Sam Hutchinson, and Lucas Jow on the score sheet. Now on the books for, of course, Reading. Meanwhile, Yeko Mati on the score sheet for Reading. Kieran Westwood got himself sent off though. Of course, the picture of this season at Hillsborough was a 1-1 draw. Callum Patterson on the score sheet. Lucas Jow though scoring for Reading this time around. Liam Shaw got himself sent off. In fact, the past 3 games between the two sides have seen a red. Sheffield Wednesday have actually lost their last 5 matches in the Championship. They've also conceded at least 2 goals in the last 3. They come into this though, 5 defeats on the spin. Pretty ropey-dopey kind of form there. Of course, Reading came into this back-to-back wins, beating Rotherham, beating Rovers. Of course, heading into this, they've turned them season around or kept themselves on track. 5-4 on for Reading. Yeah, Stone Cold Ferris 5-2 is your 15-4 is just Sheffield Wednesday. Sheffield Wednesday coming at you all the way down to 23rd, but a win for them. They could close in, of course, Rotherham into 22nd. As for Reading, they're actually in 5th, and a win for them. They could close in on 4th. That's right. I've gone with a Reading win on this one, with a 2-1 win to keep them in the top 6. Next up, we've got Norwich taking, of course, Luton Town. They're not going down. They're doing all right at the moment. Played the last 6, 3 wins apiece though. No draws. Last time around at Carrow Road was all the way back in the FA Cup in 2013. 1-0 win for Luton. Scott Rendell on the score sheet. Last time they played each other at Carrow Road in the league was all the way back in the Championship back in 2006. It was a 3-2 win for Norwich. Goal scorers on there: Darren Huckabee, goodness gracious me, Lee Croft, Robbie Earnshaw as well, Rowan Vine, Dean Morgan, Dean Morgan. Isn't that Negan? Isn't that bloody Negan? Dean Morgan. Who plays Negan? Who plays Negan? I'm googling it. Jeffrey Dean Morgan plays bloody Negan. Anyway, of course, Norwich winning their last 6 matches in the Championship, keeping a clean sheet in 5 of the last 6 as well. They're coming to this looking absolutely amazing at the moment. Meanwhile, Luton coming to this though, unbeaten the last 3, picking up 2 wins in the last 2 as well. Look at the bookies odds on this one then, shall we? Of course, Norwich 5-2 on for the victory. Of course, the Stone Cold favourites. 7-2 is your draw, 50-2 is your Luton. Luton coming at you in 13th, but a win for them. They could go as high as 10th. Norwich, of course, top of the pops, and they'll be top of the pops no matter what. Gone with a win for Norwich City on this one. 2-0 win. Move the chains. Next up, of course, Preston up against Bournemouth. Played the last 6, 3 for the Nobbers, of course, 2 for the Cherries, or something like that. Of course, 1 draw as well. Last round at Deep, there was a 2-2 draw. In, of course, it looks like, what was this? League Cup. It was a League Cup match, of course, back in 2015, 2-2 in the end. Jordan Hygo, Daniel Johnson on the score sheet for Preston, Sean McDonald, Mark Pugh on the score sheet for Bournemouth. They came out top with a win in the end. They also played each other this season at Bournemouth, 3-2 win for Preston as well. So pretty good against them. They're actually undefeated in the last 5 matches against Bournemouth in all competitions. They come into this though, just 1 win in the past 5 games. That one was against Huddersfield. Meanwhile, 2 wins on the spin for Bournemouth, beating Watford and beating, of course, Bristol City. Big boys they are. Of course, look at the bookies odds on this one. The shower, of course, Preston 23-10 for the victory. 5-2 is your draw. 23-20 is your Bournemouth. Bournemouth coming at you in 6th, and for them they could go to 5th. Preston all the way down to 14th, but for them they could go 10th in the table. I think Preston will get something out of this with a 1-1 draw in the end. Stoke taking, of course, Wycombe. Played the last 6, 3 for Stoke, 1 for Wycombe, 2 draws. Last time around at the Bet365 or whatever, was a 5-1 win for Stoke. Gunnarsson with a couple of goals there. Uwaliwomo, Cook and Goodfellow as well. McSporran on the score sheet. That's Jermaine McSporran. And Emblem got himself sent off. That was over 20 years ago. Meanwhile, they also played each other this season down at Wycombe, of course. Nick Powell with the 1 and only goal in a 1-0 win for Stoke. Stoke keep a clean sheet in the last 3 home matches. Wycombe, though, failing to win 10 of the last 11 matches on the road. They come into this, though, 3 defeats on the spin. That's Stoke. 2 wins on the spin for Wycombe. Actually, just 1 win in the past 5 for them. No bookies odds on this one. Of course, Stoke coming at you, of course, into 11th, but a win for them. They could go at 10th. Wycombe down to 24th. But win, they can close it in on, of course, Sheffield Wednesday. But they won't get it. It'll be 2-1 for Stoke. In the end, Swansea take, of course, Middlesbrough. Of course, last 6 between these two sides. 3 for Swansea, 1 for Borough, 2 draws last round. In Wales, of course, we're back in December 2019. 3-1 win for Swansea. I with a couple of goals there. Sam Surridge as well. Marcus Taverner got himself a goal, but Marcus Brown and Patrick Manair got themselves sent off last time in Wales. Of course, last time around, though, at the other side was a 2-1 win for Middlesbrough. Duncan Watmore with a couple of goals there, and Yandan Nada on the score sheet for Swansea. Swansea, though, undefeated in their last 5 home matches against Middlesbrough in all comps, coming into this, winning 3 and losing 2 at the last 5. Meanwhile, just 1 defeat the past 5 games for Borough. That was against Bristol City. And they come into the back of this against beating Coventry last time around. Look at the bookies odds on this one, then, shall we? Of course, Swansea 30-10 for the victory. That is the hosts. Of course, 23-10 is your draw. 11-5 is your Borough. Borough coming in this into 9th, but a win for them. They could go 8th. Swansea 4th. A win for them. They could go 2nd. Goodness gracious me. I think they'll get the win, though. 2-1 win for Swansea, which will set up a banger as Rovers take on Swansea in midweek crunch clashes. We'll have a look at that. Then the last 6 between two sides. Of course, this has been postponed once. I think it was frozen pitch or something like that. Anyway, Rovers beaten Swansea once in the past 6 games. Swansea picking up 2 wins and 3 draws as well. Last round at Ewood Park was a draw, 2-2 draw back in February 2020. Sam Gallagher and Bradley Johnson on the score sheet with a Bobby Dazzler it was. Ryan Brewster and, of course, Andre Ayew thought they'd won it. But, of course, they also pleasure that this season in Wales. We owe them a bloody win, we do. It was a 2-0 win, of course, back in Wales. Ben Cambango and Andre Ayew with a 61st minute doubler to give them the win. Rovers actually lost their 6 of the last 7 matches in the Championship. They come into this looking very, very shit, picking up 4 defeats in the past 5 games, both home and away. 3 wins in the past 5 for Swansea. Of course, bookies odds. We have odds on this one. 64 for Rovers. 9-5 is your Swansea. 9-4 is the draw. Of course, I'm going with Rovers on the first game against Millwall, and then it's going to kick on forward. We're going to get 6 points out of 6 this week and clean sheets to boot. Of course, I'm hoping to see Bradley Johnson back for both of these, and I think him being the big boss man in midfield will move the chains, and give Rovers a big old boost. Kicking off forward, it'll be Luton Town taking, of course, Rotherham as well this midweek. Played the last 6, 2 for Luton, 3 for Rotherham, 1 draw last round. At Luton was a 3-0 win for Luton back in, of course, in the FA Cup 2009. Adam Newton, Alan White, and of course Claude Knapka on score sheet for Luton. They also, last time around, they played each other in the league. At Luton was a 4-2 win for Rotherham back in 2009. It was in the League 2. But they also played each other this season down at the New York Stadium. It was a 1-0 win for Rotherham. Sorry, a 1-0 win for Luton. James Collins on the score sheet. Heading into this, though, just 1 win the past 5 games for Rotherham. It was a big one, though, against Sheffield Wednesday. Meanwhile, Luton come into this unbeaten the last 3, picking up 2 wins and a draw to boot. Look at the bookies odds on this one. We have bookies odds, I think. No, we don't. We don't have bookies odds on this one, but anyway, a win for Luton. Of course, they've got 2 matches on the agenda. If they win both of them, they could go as high as 9th. Wow, we will. As for their opposition, Rotherham, they've also got 6 points on the agenda. Win both of those, they could go as high as 18th. Going with the 2-1 win for Luton, make it back-to-back wins for them. Nope, they'll lose that one. They'll lose that bloody bastard against Norwich. Next up, of course, with Barnsley against Derby. We talked about it briefly before I interjected. Of course, played for the last 6, 2 wins for Barnsley, 3 for Derby, 1 draw last round. Of course, at Oka was a 2-2 draw back in, of course, October 2019. Apo Halme on the score sheet, Collywood draw as well. Chris Martin, Tom Huddleston on the score sheet for Derby. Meanwhile, they also played each other at Pride Park this season with a 2-0 win for Barnsley. Connor Chaplin, Victor Adebayo on the score sheet as well. Of course, Barnsley looking red hot at the moment, unbeaten in the last 5, if not more than that. Meanwhile, just 1 win in the past 4 games for Derby, and they'll head into this on the back of a defeat to Coventry. As for Barnsley, they'll come into the back of this, into this game with a win, I think, over Birmingham. Of course, bookies odds on this one then, shall we? 65 on for Barnsley, of course, with red hot various 5-2 is your 10-3 is your Derby. Of course, if Barnsley win both of those games, they potentially could go as high as, of course, 5th in the table. As for Derby, win both of those games this week, they could go from 18th all the way up to, 44 points, 13th in the table. I think they'll lose this one as well. Barnsley making another win on the spin. And finally, it'll be QPR taking, of course, Wycombe, of course, played to the last 6-2 for QPR, nothing for Wycombe, 4 draws last round. At Loftus Road was all the way back in 2003, 0-0 draw in the end. They also played each other this season at Wycombe as a 1-1 draw back in December. Of course, Wycombe, though, failing to win 10 last 11 matches away from home. They come into this, though, just 1 win the past 5 games. That one was against Reading. Meanwhile, back-to-back games without a win for QPR, losing to Birmingham, losing to Barnsley as well. Bookies odds on this one, I don't have them. No, I do have them. 20-13 on QPR, your favourites. 40-5 is draw. 4-1 is your Wycombe. Wycombe coming down to into 24th. But again, they've got 2 matches this week. If they beat Stoke, if they beat QPR, both back-to-back away games, they could get themselves 9 points. They could go up to 23rd and push Sheffield Wednesday. You're in the right old dog shit. As for QPR, again, 6 points on the agenda. If they beat Bristol City and beat Wycombe, they could potentially go from 17th all the way up to 10th in the table. And guess what? That could be playoffs talk once again. I've gone with the 1-1 draw, though. I think Wycombe will nick something out of this. That's what I think will happen, of course, this match day, of course. And if I'm right, this is what the table will look like. Rovers a little bit more pretty, of course, into 13th. but of course Norwich leading the charge, 10 points clear over Brentford, who are level on points with Watford, who are 1 point clear over Swansea, and of course Reading and Barnsley make up your top 6. Sheffield Wednesday, Rotherham and Wycombe going down as it stands, but still airtight. You can't even rule out QPR, Derby and Huddersfield and Birmingham still in that relegation discussion as of right now. That's what I think will happen. Of course, be sure to get your picks in. We'll do it all again very, very soon. Of course, after the conclusion of those midweek games. Be sure to check out the video down below and links down below. I'm on Twitter, I'm on Facebook, and again, if you want to support chat in another way, you could become the latest member of the Patreon gang. Also, smash the thumbs up, smash subscribe, and I'll see you all next time for some more picks. Happy prediction, come on Rovers, make it back-to-back wins here over the next match day. Until then, though, I'm out.